guys? Welcome to Torres Talks. Right here, I have Sabah Ali. Um, she's an amazing person. She's great at marketing. She has a lot of strategy behind it. She actually wrote a book, and it's pretty amazing to talk about how someone at the age of 22 has already written a best-selling book called Enrolling in Confidence. And of course, I definitely advise you guys to buy the book and read it. It's got a lot of points that you can make at a young age and implement them as you go. So Sabah, kind of tell your story real quick about yourself and how you began your brands of growing Unforgettable by Sabah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, thanks so much for having me on. It's super exciting, to talk to different people, within the industry and kind of share more about, what it is that I do and how I kind of got started. So yeah, let's go back a little bit. So I've been in this space for about 3 years now. I actually started when I was 19 years old when I was in college. So this is like by far probably like the best and, my favorite story I like to tell. I was actually I went to go listen to a speaker for extra credit in one of my classes at one of my universities. I was 19, I was a sophomore in college. And one of the speakers, his name was Brandon Adams, and he was sharing his journey, through entrepreneurship, building up a business and throwing the events. And I got super intrigued by what it was he was doing. Backstory, I was always interested in entrepreneurship, but I never really thought that I'd actually go out and build something of my own. So when, Brandon came and spoke, he needed interns for his events. I was like, okay, that's pretty cool being an intern in, your sophomore year, and why not go for it? So connecting with Brandon, that event was amazing. It was in Iowa, and I started to kind of work alongside Brandon, a lot of his companies. He did a lot of front-end PR, marketing, crowdfunding, branding, and I started to work with like big influential people, so like John Lee Dumas, Kevin Harrington, Jeff Hoffman, and I'd attend all of these events, red carpet premieres, and what I was doing was I was just documenting the entire thing. So I was posting on social media, doing videos, and I was like sharing my story throughout it, and I was building a brand without really even knowing it. So people started to, come to me, my audience started to grow. So I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. What can I actually do to really scale up my brand even more? So this was now when I was a junior in college. So I was like, okay, kind of want to write a book. So I made the goal of actually writing and publishing and hitting bestseller with my book in 30 days. So I did that March of 2017. Wrote the book, and then I leveraged that to get myself on TV, TV features and different media publications. So that was kind of the first thing that really jump-started my brand and got me, a lot of exposure because I was on TV, and they're like, okay, who is this girl? I need to start following her. So that kind of was like momentum, one led to the next. And fast forward a little bit, going into my senior year of college, I graduated about a year ago now, but I was like, okay, what can I really do to make an impact in college students' lives? So then I also show people like, hey, I'm a college student, I'm going down the, path of entrepreneurship, but I'm doing this while I'm still in college. So I decided to document every single year of my college career of doing like a daily Facebook Live.
Yeah.
I did it for like 267 days consecutively. Built up my audience a lot that way, got landed on different TV features, started Unforgettable by Sabah, was pretty much, teaching people how to build their brand, their story, but also, really identifying what it is that they truly want to be doing. So did that, graduated. So you can say I've been doing this full time for about a year now. I graduated in May 2018. So yeah, basically what I do is I coach and consult people on teaching them how to use their story, their brand messaging to really build up something that's so much more greater than what it is that they're currently doing right now. So in a nutshell, that's kind of how I started and what I'm doing right now.
That's so freaking cool. Stepping out of your comfort zone and doing videos every single day, like you said, 260 some odd days, and building your brand that way, how you kind of fell into entrepreneurship is so incredible. For me, I always had a little fire in entrepreneurship. I've always not wanted to be told what to do. Whenever I had jobs throughout high school and college, it was always like in the back of my head, I don't want to work for anyone. I want to build my own thing. And it's so cool to see someone else have that angst to do that at such a young age. And you went through the internship process and you met all these people. Like it's amazing at that age that someone can do so much, and it's huge for anyone. So many people that I talk to now, they're young, they're vibrant, these networking meetings I go to, it's so cool seeing 18-year-olds to 20-year-olds have the same mindset.
Yeah.
And really just want to connect and do great things. And it's not just personal wealth that they're after, it's actual growth and stories like what you're doing, what I'm beginning to do. That's so awesome. So where did you grow up exactly? And how did you, navigate through life, going through different obstacles and find yourself where you are now?
Yeah. So I was born and raised in Ames, Iowa. So I'm still here right now, probably planning to move towards the end of this year. But yeah, honestly, like the backstory that I like to tell people and like what I actually gave in my TEDx talk. When I was growing up, I was probably like, I was a really shy person. So like now people see me like speak on stages, doing interviews. They're like, okay, how did she get to that point? But honestly, in high school, that was probably like the lowest point of my life. I lost my mom when I was 15. And I was in like a really bad 4-year relationship. So that kind of just like crumbled my self-esteem. I didn't really know exactly what it was I wanted to be doing. So that's probably the main obstacle that I had to get over. And it really wasn't until I met Brandon who showed me that I had a lot more within myself that I could be doing. Because when I graduated high school, I went into college, and like my first year, I was that typical college student who really didn't do anything, partied, kind of went to classes, but I didn't really have a vision of what it was I was doing. So like, honestly, I always tell people to show up at different events because I wasn't looking for a mentor. I just coincidentally went to go listen to a speaker, and it so happened to be Brandon. That kind of led me down to this like opportunity. And now it's, ended up here. So I always think about like, if I didn't go listen to him speak, I probably would not be doing everything that I'm doing right now. Because I knew that I did not have that drive in me to do it myself. Like it had to be someone else to show me that I could do it. So like for me, now that's why I love to coach and consult people, because a lot of people, they want to be doing these things, but I see a lot of potential in them, but it's just limiting beliefs that they have.
Most definitely, yeah. That's an amazing story. I'm very sorry to hear about your mother, but of course, what doesn't really take you makes you stronger. It's crazy to see the obstacles that people face. I'll kind of tell you a little bit about me too and my story. So like you, I was shy. Throughout middle school, high school, my first 2.5 years, I lived in Oviedo, Florida, so Orlando area, and ultimately I was pretty mute. I didn't talk to many people in class. Outside of school, I played lacrosse throughout high school and college, and that's where I had some friends. But I would be pretty mute, and I would not talk to people. I was in a bad space, and when I got to college, similar to you, I experimented with just the college experience. Didn't go to class as much. I luckily had a scholarship academically, and I played lacrosse. So that was really cool experiencing that. But junior year is my defining moment. That's when I entered a digital marketing course in class, and the professor grabbed onto me because he knew that he saw potential in me. And to this day, I use him as a reference for a lot of things, and it's because he sees what I could do, even when I was in my low moments. And one of those low moments, was October in 2018. If I had succeeded, I wouldn't be here today. And it's amazing to see what you can transform into, and how those obstacles can totally change your mindset and how you can grow from those. That's amazing. Kind of what are two, I know you said that, of course, at 15, you lost your mother, but what other impactful moments and obstacles had you had to face and overcome, and what steps did you take to learn those and get past them?
Yeah, for sure. So specifically, probably like in actual like entrepreneurship, when I first got started, I didn't still know exactly what I wanted to do. So like right after that, I was like, okay, I want to coach and consult. Like I didn't know I was doing that. So I knew I wanted to do something. So when I first got into entrepreneurship, like I was trying a lot of different things. Like I did podcasting for a little bit, I did courses, I did e-commerce, drop shipping. So going through that process, like it was an obstacle for sure, because I was like, okay, I'm going to be doing all this, but like nothing's working, first of all. But like also I wasn't really passionate about what it was I was doing. And like even throughout the entire process, I was still in college. So I graduated 2 majors, and I did within 4 years. So it's like I had a full schedule in college, but I was still trying to figure out this entrepreneurship stuff. So like there were days where I was like, okay, I don't want to show up. Like, I don't want to do a live video every single day, but I still made it happen because of like that end vision that I was like going for. So I guess like the steps I had to take was like, first of all, actually identifying like why I even started in the first place. And it was because like, for one, like Brandon showed me where I didn't see myself. And like one of the reasons I wrote that book was to share my story, like my book, to share my story and show other people that like, yes, we all go through stuff like in the past, but that really doesn't have to define you, and that doesn't have to define your future. So for me, it's always thinking about, you know, those days where I don't want to wake up, I don't want to make a post. It's like, why did I start in the first place? And then that kind of, you know, gets me going and actually pushing towards, you know, that end goal for everything. But like, I feel like entrepreneurship is like this. It's never just like this. But that's also like the fun part with it, for sure.
I feel the same way. My past guest, Glenn Hodges, he made it very clear what he thought life was. Life is not a destination, it's a journey. And again, a journey always goes up and down. You're never going to have a straight line. It's something that you have to work on a day-to-day basis. You have to always remember your why and what's going to be putting you past those limiting beliefs. That's so cool. That's so neat what you've done already. Kind of tell me, you know, for the listeners that haven't read your book, what is Enrolling in Confidence really about? You know, a quick thesis of it.
Yeah, for sure. So basically that book, I structured out each chapter. So it's a principle of like the daily stuff that I did when I was in college, to be that typical college student, but then be very career focused in my field of entrepreneurship. So basically I shared my story going through college, a little bit of backstory and things that I was doing to progress in entrepreneurship. So till this day, the principles I put in this book, I still applied to my own life. So, you know, when people hear about like, oh, it's for college students, I'm like, it is, but like the principles I still use to this day, because it talks about how, you know, I invest in myself, about how I'm super disciplined when it comes to time management, different things that really did progress me in entrepreneurship. So, you know, it's a little bit about my story, but then also like actual implementable stuff I put in there that anyone can read and apply within their business and their life, for sure.
That's so neat. Always giving back. You know, that's something I feel like a lot of entrepreneurs now, you know, in our young 20s, 30s, and 40s even, we give so much content and we give so much that, you know, people always ask me, you know, why do you give so much? Why do you want to help people so much? What are you getting from it? And it's a gratification of just telling a story and understanding that story and giving it to other people so that they can come out of whatever circumstance they're in. And that stuff's powerful. It really, really game changes a lot of people mentally and physically and spiritually. And that's something I myself have been dabbling in for some time now. So 5 years from now, where do you see yourself personally?
Yeah. So 5 years from now, personally, I see myself definitely. So I'll probably go like personally and like with business stuff, because that's how we work.
Yeah.
And I know you're gonna ask me that next. So I'll kind of but I think 5 years from now, I definitely see myself honestly doing a lot more like in-person things. So like when I do coaching consulting, it's usually just like online, doing Zoom calls like this. But for me, like my vision and mission is to throw like live events, speak at more locations, go back to speak at universities, schools, to actually focus a lot more on, yes, branding and like storytelling, the business side of entrepreneurship. But I'm super passionate about also like the personal development, because for me, I always say 80% of everything you do is mindset and 20% is tactical things, not just in entrepreneurship, but like in life in general. So for me, I really see myself being a big influence for women, and then also for young individuals as they're going through the process of either school, college, people are working jobs. It doesn't just have to be entrepreneurs. For me, my message is so much greater that I don't want to be just helping entrepreneurs. I want to be helping people like more than that. So I guess personally for me, like I want to be that influence for people. And then business side, like, yes, I want to build up my business and I want to work with big brands, like commercial brands, to actually help them with their storytelling, with their branding. But like my brand, like Unforgettable, the reason why I started that was to show people that they're capable of doing so much more than they think they can be doing, and it truly being unforgettable in like their business, their lives, and their relationships. So those are like three segments that I'm focusing on and really creating as I'm going through the process. And yes, I'm still so early on in my entrepreneurship journey, but I definitely see a vision of where I'm headed for sure.
That's amazing. That's so genuine what you want to do. You know, helping the women community, women entrepreneur community, and young entrepreneurs too is so powerful for someone our age to really take hold of and want to be that influencer.
Yeah.
You know, I feel I want to say that's kind of similar to what I want to do. You know, I've been practicing public speaking for a little bit. I'm not too bad at it. I'm working on it still, but just telling those stories, I want to be able to get in front of, you know, thousands of people and, you know, possibly change their life. So I went to Tony Robbins in Nashville a couple weeks ago, and that was, of course, life changing. It makes me want to get in front of people and tell their stories, like Damon John, how he just went through the flow of what he did from the conception of FUBU to where it is now. And of course, Tony's story, a few other people were really nice, and what they went through is huge, and they can impact so many people with their story. And that's so genuine by people.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's awesome. Yeah, I love Tony Robbins, someone who I follow very closely.
Right. Yeah. I love it. I love it. I was lucky enough to get the opportunity. I somehow went for free. We were raffling off.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, they were raffling off some tickets at networking events. I actually didn't win from the pooling, but through a connection and another connection, I was given one of them, and it was huge. I want to go to his next event in Atlanta, so I'm working on that one. But so if you could go back in time, 10 years, 10-year-old you, you know, what tips and comments would you give yourself?
Yeah, that's a good question. For one, it would be don't care so much about what other people think about what it is that you're doing. Because even going through, like when I first started, I hesitated a lot in putting out video, doing content, starting, you know, my brand and doing launches and everything like that, because I was so worried about what other people would think. So that really, I mean, it didn't really slow down my process, but it kind of put inner doubt and fear in my mind and like in my head. So for me, like progressing through it, like if I were to go back and like start everything over, it'd be don't care so much about what other people think of you, and then also just start now and like start so much earlier. Like if I could go back, I would have started like probably when I was in high school or even earlier than that. Start now and focus a lot once again on like the bigger vision of it all. I feel like so many people, especially nowadays, it's so easy to like become an online entrepreneur and make money, which is great. Like we literally have the world in our fingertips, so like anyone can be doing it, but like focus on what you're truly passionate about. Don't build a business just for the money or just for the material things. Yes, that's a great outcome that you can get from the things that you're doing, but I actually just made a post before I hopped on this call. Brands are built with passion, nothing else. And when people ask me how I'm so consistent about showing up and doing it every single day, yes, it's about discipline. Yes, it's about batching. Yes, it's about, you know, creating content beforehand. But the main reason why is because I'm so passionate about what it is that I'm doing. So, you know, a lot of young entrepreneurs also feel like they need to figure it out right now. You don't. You have so much more time. What I did in the beginning of entrepreneurship was I tested and tried a lot of different things. So, you know, if I were to go back, I'd be like, try everything and see what it is that you like. Like, don't feel like you need to stick to one thing just because you got started into it. But yeah, honestly, like, just go for it, because if you don't, you'll like look back, you know, 5 or 10 years from now and be like, shoot, you know, I should have gone for it. And that's like the one thing that I never want to do is like regret. So like for me, even till this day, I'm always about taking opportunities that really do progress me in the direction that I'm going, for sure. So yeah.
That's so awesome. So people can take notes from that, and that's so, again, genuine. That makes me want to ask, kind of, what's your next project you want to conquer in the next 12 months?
Yeah, good question. I love this. So definitely, I'm in the process of definitely scaling my coaching consulting business. So yeah, helping a lot of established entrepreneurs and business owners build and scale their brands, for sure. yes, online, but then also offline. A lot of the things that I do is, building an audience online, but then
Mhm.
also like I believe our message is so much greater than just social media. So actually like, getting different media features, speaking on stages and all of that. But for me, within like, this year and next, I'm actually working on landing myself on more speaking tours and engagements. So like for me, one of my visions is to go on like a speaking tour, not just in the US, but like do it all over the world. I've given, 2 TEDx talks. I've spoken at national conferences in like the US, entrepreneurship conferences,
Mhm.
university, school. So for me, I'm super passionate about speaking, and I know that in-person interaction is so key. So for me,
Mhm.
that's something that I'm working on. This year, definitely just landing as many speaking engagements as I can. I'm already
Mhm.
planning what I want to do in 2020, but 2020 is really going to be focusing on, making that bigger impact in that bigger level. So yeah, those are pretty much like the 2 things that I'm working on right now.
That's so awesome. If you could give me a couple tips on how to, get those public speaking gigs, because that's something I want to dabble in and see if ultimately I'm
Mm,
gonna be good at, or at least practice. What kind of tips could you
yeah,
give me to get open to that and get into the
yeah.
audience?
Yeah, totally. So honestly, like in the beginning, I was, yeah, like what I said, I was super shy. So I wasn't good at speaking. But like what you're doing right now, I started to podcast, I started to do videos to just get better at communication. But when I
Yeah.
first started, honestly, what I did was I just started locally. So
Mhm.
spoke at different schools, universities, simply just reached out because people like, hear about your story. And like, what is that you're doing? You're super passionate about, helping the youth too. So I know a lot of, high schools, they bring in speakers with things that, talking about, just like mindset, leadership, success, development, working locally for sure. And then as you do that, for one, you'll get practice, but then also record what it is that you're doing. So when you
Mhm.
do go to, bigger stages, you can send them that video to show proof that yes, you have spoken before. But as far as, speaking in general, it's literally just practice and going out there. I feel like anyone can be a speaker. Just because
Mhm.
you're not good at it right now doesn't mean you can't be good at it in a few months.
Right.
I never thought that I would speak. I literally hated public speaking. But as I got into it, I was like, oh my gosh, I just love being on stage now. But yeah, honestly, just practice more, go out and ask if you can speak at different locations. And as you do, then you'll, start to get paid for and get more noticed. And
Yeah.
yeah, just put it on the front end of everything that you're doing on social media too.
Will do. Yeah, that's awesome. I've gotten a couple opportunities where they kind of fell through, so I want to get them in stone. But I'll do that. Definitely speak to the local colleges. We have about 6 within a 45 minute drive, so I'll be reaching out to them. I hope that I can touch people and
Yeah.
in the heart and pull the emotional strings to get them acting on what they want to do. Uh, so,
Mm-hmm.
what are some limiting beliefs that you had to overcome to separate yourself from the pack? Um, you know,
Mm-hmm.
tell me how what you had to overcome really.
Yeah, so I had a lot. The main one is probably just because like I feel like I didn't have enough experience first to start off and build my own business and entrepreneurship because also when I first got started, like everyone, literally everyone that I worked with Brandon and my team, just other people that I met, they were always so much older than me. So I
Mhm.
felt like I never had like enough expertise to actually like sell a product or sell a service or coach and consult. And I feel like a lot of people have imposter syndrome, which
Yeah.
I had in the beginning too. I was like, okay, like am I giving enough value for someone to actually pay me for my services? So that was one. Another thing was, actually taking the jump and going full in and doing entrepreneurship. I mean, I probably haven't worked a real job in over like 2 or 3 years now. So like I jumped into entrepreneurship. So like obviously those, daily beliefs of like, shoot, what if this doesn't work out? The fears of not making it, the fears once again about what other people are thinking. If my content is actually working,
Mhm.
just the typical ones people have. But then also like for me, I lacked confidence a lot, which is one of the reasons why my book's titled Enrolling in Confidence. Like my past high school relationship and like everything I went through, like that tore my confidence. So um like once again, people see me now, posting content, doing videos and stuff, and they're like, oh, it's like she has so much confidence. That's something I really had to get over.
Mhm.
And like for me, I'm still, one thing people think I'm extroverted, I'm still like, I'm an extroverted introvert. So
Yeah.
like there'll be my times where I'm like, I like to be alone and have my alone time. But at the same
Mhm.
time, when I'm super passionate about something, I can just talk and talk and talk. So definitely, yeah, a lot that I had to overcome. And still, there's still some limiting beliefs I have. I feel like no one ever overcomes all of them. But
Mhm.
it's all about, working on yourself every day and actually taking the time to acknowledge what's going on like within you and within your mind, because if you don't, you get super caught up in like the everyday workflow that
Mhm.
you'll come to a point where it's like, I'm really just not fulfilled in what it is I'm doing, and it's because you're not really focusing and learning about what's going on internally.
Yeah.
But yeah, in short, those are a few that I had to get over.
That's amazing. I have a similarity there, not having so much confidence and, going through a relationship that ultimately ended not long ago. It could be really your driving force and ultimately help you get to where you want to go and really put your passions out there, really get introspective. And that's kind of what I did for the first couple of weeks. I was, of course, heartbroken and such, but it made me get really into my own head in a good way, not a bad way.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to see how life can throw so many punches at you, and you just have to keep dodging them. You got to just keep moving and start jumping and start really just getting yourself in there. It's so powerful. It's so powerful for people to see that, and it's amazing the connections I've made. Just being, I moved back to Chattanooga about 6 weeks ago, and the friendships I've already made and the future friendships I'm excited to meet. It's
Mm-hmm.
so powerful just to see how I can put a smile on people's faces ultimately, or tell them a little bit of my story and tell them other people's stories, and they light up, and it's so genuine. Again, uh, I just gotta say, I kind of want to come off the cuff and ask you, what do you think? I'm just starting out doing videos and putting myself out there. I've been a part of several different groups and I have mentors, but what do you recommend me to do differently to kind of separate myself?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So I always say, like, if people are just kind of like, just starting out, or they're still, figuring out what they can be doing differently, honestly, what I always say is document every single thing that you're doing. I'm even getting back more into like showing my lifestyle, because people love to see your progress and things, and
Yeah.
people love to feel like they're a part of your journey. Everything, honestly, that I've done up until now, I always include my audience with me. Like when I was writing my book for 30 days, I literally showed people the entire process. I obviously showed my entire senior year of as I was building up a business and going through college. And it's different too, because as you're going through that, you also find more of your voice and more of like your brand. Like I didn't come up with Unforgettable just randomly on the spot. It kind of came to me as I was going through the process.
Yeah.
And like what my mentor always says is find someone who's already done what you want to do and follow in like their footsteps. I probably would never have gotten to the place where I'm at right now if it wasn't of like me actually working with mentors, investing in myself, and actually taking it seriously. Because once again, like I see so many people like they want to be doing this, they want to actually build a brand, speak on stages, be financially free, but like commitment wise, they're not quite there yet. Like I literally was so committed that like once again my senior year I was doing so much that I didn't really have a social life, and I knew that's what I had to do if I really wanted to make this entrepreneurship thing work. So like there was times where I was like I was really upset because there was no one there who actually understood what it was I was going through. Like all my college friends, like they're out and stuff. I'm like, is this worth it? But at the end of the day, it is, because once again, it goes back to that bigger vision mission that you want to be doing. And I truly believe if you actually have that driving factor and that commitment to do it, yes, like anyone can be doing it.
That's so awesome. Thank you so much for that advice. I'll wrap this up and kind of tell people, I'm on a mission ultimately to connect people in any kind of way possible. If they're telling their stories, and I'm blessed to have Sabah here today, and share this story in a couple of weeks to everyone. And again, I just want to be a genuine person, and that's how I sell myself ultimately, because I am very interested in people, and I understand the perspectives and the psychology behind it, because I studied so much through high school and college that I feel like it's the perfect place for me. You know,
Mm.
I love helping people. So that's something I've always been about. I used to spend hours upon hours during the summers volunteering, and I got away from that, and I want to bring that out to so many people. Um, so before we hop off here, I just want to give you the opportunity to plug yourself in, where people can find you and how they can learn from you.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, so people can find me literally on all social media, just Sabah Ali. Probably Instagram is one of my favorite platforms, and my handle is the Sabah Ali. And then yeah, just on Facebook, feel free to just like send me a friend request or shoot me a DM. If you need help with anything. Honestly, just those two places. And if like you actually directly want to reach me, my email is sabah@sabahali.com.
Awesome, awesome. Again, thank you so much for the time you spent here. I took mental notes. I'm going to be going through this several times just to write down things I missed. But I just wanted to say thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm just going to say it's the end of Torres Talks again. If you guys are really interested in seeing this more, definitely subscribe on my YouTube channel. You're going to see that at Main Course Marketing. For me, my plug is King_James_Torres on Instagram and James Matthew Torres on Facebook. So I'm excited to start this journey with people and meet people just like you, Sabah, and build on what I can do and learn even more. I'm very, very thankful for all the things I can do, and I really want to make my family and my grandfather proud right now and keep pushing and keep driving. So I appreciate it all. Again, the viewers are the oxygen for what I'm trying to do. It grows every time someone can see it, and I'm very excited to see where this can go with me and all my network. So thank you so much, Sabah. You have a blessed one, okay?
Thank you too.